Brings us to Breaking Points with Crystal and Saagar. Saagar. Why'd I say his name funny?
When the history of the 2020s is written, they will look back at this month specifically as when the world truly woke up to the dangers of globalization. You would think it might take a global pandemic, 2 years of depending on your peer adversary for...
Once again, this is an example of conservatives getting so close to the point and missing it entirely. Not globalization. Globalization is not the problem. Being in an interconnected world is pretty fucking cool, if you ask me. Globalization is not the issue. And as I understand it, globalization is fucking anti-Semite dog whistle for the Jewish conspiracy. So, fuck, Saagar, what the hell? You're upset about the natural results of capitalism.
For critical medical supplies, but really what it took was the outbreak of a war in Europe combined with a massive supply shock brought once again by the Chinese government. The Russian effects on the economy at this point are all well known. High gas price, high fertilizer price leading to food, and possibly double-digit inflation in food products for the developed world, as well as a very likely shortage in wheat markets. And while devastating as that will be for many people, it is just a drop in the bucket compared to what could come. Russia, after all, is only the world's 11th largest economy, and they mostly just export petroleum products. China, on the other hand, is the whole ballgame. Even 10% of the Russian economic sanctions against China would have a cascade...
Hey, no. They don't just export petroleum products. They also export those little fucking nesting dolls. You got the one doll and the other doll and the other doll. Those are pretty fucking cool. And they're like vodka. They got vodka.
Global economy. And while sanctions haven't touched them yet, the idiocy of the Chinese Communist Party is about to have a massive impact on the global economy and us here at home. China, despite being responsible for the spread of COVID in the first place, has remained duly committed to COVID zero policy and has the authoritarian chops to back that up. So, they have instituted full-scale lockdown and quarantines across the country. They will even strand people with nothing in service of trying to shut down the virus. They had moderate success with that strategy until Omicron appeared, and now, when COVID zero meets Omicron, we are seeing a massive impact.
I wanted to point out I've seen firsthand accounts from China. They were not stranded with nothing. Like, the government sent people care packages and shit. Now, I can't attest to, the quality of the things in the care packages. They weren't stranded with nothing. I know that to be a fact. So Saagar is lying already. I would assume they're still going to send care packages to citizens like they did before.
Impact on our own supply chain for goods that we consume at home. Yesterday, we saw that news that the Foxconn has forced to halt production at its Shenzhen facility over a Chinese-imposed lockdown.
Are you talking about Saagar's background? Because I think it's real.
First, obviously, on the Apple iPhone supply chain. But more than that, it is a symbol of even more inflation to come here at home. Shenzhen has a population of 17 million. It is being shut down over 60 coronavirus cases. 60. These people make the Branch Covidians here at home look sane. The Shenzhen facility for Foxconn is the second largest...
You shut down when cases are low to keep cases low. You don't wait until everybody fucking has it. That's not the point of the lockdown, Saagar, you stupid fuck. What? Oh my God. Well, they're shutting down over just 60 cases. Yes, dude. Yes. To contain it. And I'm going to point out as we enter our third year, we are 2 years deep into this. Like the anniversary of New York shutting down was 2 days ago or some shit. Had all countries pursued a COVID zero policy, we would be back to normal already. and I wouldn't have to hear you bitch about the economy. The economy could do whatever the fuck it wanted, you know? Could go back to raping people. Yeah, you don't just wait until everybody has it and then go like, oh, well, that's Saagar's point. Is once everybody has it, well, like everybody has it, so why would you lock down? It's just like there is no situation in which Saagar would feel like a lockdown was a plausible solution to the situation. Because it's all about, and for what reason? It's the economy, to keep the economy going. Seriously, the example that he gives in this piece is Foxconn, manufacturer of the iPhone. Saagar is upset that shutting down will save lives, but he might not get the newest iPhone as quick. That's literally what this motherfucker is bitching about. And the problems he's pointing out are caused by the system that he promotes and upholds. And by saying it's globalization that's causing all this, you're obscuring the actual fucking fact that it's capitalism that's causing all this.
Largest facility in the whole country. Exactly how long is this lockdown going to last? Totally unclear. Look, according to the city of Shenzhen's own government, they are the largest exporter of goods from all of China, with 300 billion in goods just last year, with a large percentage of those goods related to consumer electronics, from phones, processors, audio, video equipment, basic electoral components. We are talking about one of the most strategically important cities on the planet for production that exists in the year 2021. Here's the thing. This lockdown on the city, it's totally up to the government of China when it's going to stop.
Well, yeah.
They have not cared yet about economic consequences when pursuing this idiotic strategy. China is restricting intercountry travel, keeping millions of its citizens restricted to the areas that they are from. And in a way, I feel for them. China has not actually done a very good job of vaccinating their elderly population. And they have a very, very vulnerable elderly population health-wise. Combine that with reverence for the elderly in China, and you see a government with more incentives.
Not all of them.
Of course, the casualty is going to be U.S. global inflation in terms of consumer electronics. It's now even more likely to spike, highlighting the dangers of global.
Like that one major like developer in their in their real estate market. What the fucking is it, the Evergrande or whatever? Like they're letting that's a private entity, and they're like letting it sink. Like it's taking responsibility. They're not gonna bail it out. So like that, I mean, there's good and bad with every fucking system.
And allowing a critical part of your supply chain of the future to be wholly determined by the whims of a government which also loves nothing more than to see our country suffer. What's worse is that inflation is only likely the tip of the iceberg. Just yesterday, the Chinese stock market plunged more than it has since 2008. It is being described...
Well, here, that's back to my point is we would have had less economic disruption if we had pursued COVID zero from the beginning like China and led the way with other countries and got everybody vaccinated. We would have been over this. We would have been... No, nothing. Nothing would have happened. Nuh-uh. We had an opportunity to stay at home and jack off for like, a year? Once February rolled around, the vaccines were pretty much open to everybody. Like, should have been an open IP. Should have been all kinds of people developing vaccines. Should have flooded the market with vaccines. And by the spring, when we were getting the Delta variant coming through and still ravaging the country, that's when this should have been over. If we had done all the right things. And that would have been better for the economy than this stop and start shit that we have done for 2 years, going on 3 years now, and it looks like it's going to happen again. That we're going to have these soft lockdowns just because people are just going to be getting sick all over the place. the zero COVID policy, if implemented by all the countries, would have been better for our economy. Saagar, you stupid fuck.
Is a dot-com level bust over there because of our
And we would have saved
we
lives.
are likely to see financial contagion here at home. Multiple Chinese companies are included in funds traded by major stock exchanges, including some held by the most prestigious pension funds here in the US. Great, right? Yeah, totally great. In fact, Wall Street upped its investments in Chinese stocks last year. They were returning well relative to our markets, right? Yeah, except yesterday, they are now down a combined 72% on US exchanges. Yeah, you heard me right. We are on the verge of what feels like a collapse of a global order, a financial order, but really an order of our lives. We have ordered our economy around the cheapest and most efficient stuff in the chase of endless profits. In some areas of life, that's nice. The iPhone is cool. My flat screen TV is cool too. But you know what's not cool? Paying nearly $5 a gallon and now having a huge...
Let me posit this. We would still have iPhones and flat screen TVs in the absence of chasing every dollar of profit, like he said. Like, he literally calls out capitalism without saying it.
Case of endless profits. In some areas... Yeah, you heard me.
Yeah, there we go.
We are on the verge of what feels like a collapse of a global order, a financial order, but really an order of our lives. We have ordered our economy around the cheapest and most efficient stuff in the chase of endless profits. In some areas of life,
Capitalism.
the iPhone is cool. My flat screen TV is cool too. But you know what's not cool? Paying nearly $5 a gallon and now having a huge portion of the public unable to afford the comforts of the everyday life that they were promised, and also being threatened with legitimate poverty over inflation.
My iPhone's cool.
But the problem is that there is no one to turn us in the right direction. Biden is absent, leaderless. His successors and subordinates are perhaps the only people in Washington more clueless and useless than he is. And on the other side, just full-scale culture war. Nobody is proposing the ambitious program America needs to get ourselves the hell out of this mess. Look at our own eyes at the state of the world.
Somebody did. There was a guy. I didn't make this up. There was a man. He's still serving in the Senate today. His name is Bernie Sanders. He had those sweeping proposals to make the changes that were needed. Like that. That's a thing there's a movement that exists, and you are diametrically opposed to it, sir. There's an answer to all the things you're talking about. What the hell? That's stupid, Ty.
Has there ever been a better time to build here in America? Develop long-standing plans in our energy policy, at least a call to the better angels of our nature.
Nationalize the energy companies.
The American people, our 30-year experiment with being reliant on others is over. It's time to turn to ourselves. Unfortunately, we are missing this opportunity. And in the meantime, the people who will suffer most are working class Americans getting hammered at the pump, losing 7% of their wages to inflation, planning on driving less, and being miserable at home. Soon, they won't even be able to get a new TV to at least relax while watching their economy collapse. In pursuit of becoming a rich country for the few, we have made our poor more vulnerable.
Capitalism
is to at least have the courage to admit that we were terribly wrong years ago and reverse course on globalization.
No, you're so close. Admit that you were terribly wrong years ago, and this whole capitalism thing isn't working out. You want to have shit made in America? Nationalize the companies. There's no way that you can live in a capitalist economy and not expect a company to do exactly what it did. Go where the cheap labor is. To offshore anything they can that's going to reduce costs. That is literally in the best interest of the company in capital. It's the fundamental flaw of the system, Saagar. You're not hitting the nail on the head, dude. You're like way over here on this piece of wood. Globalization, what the fuck, dude? Well, then nationalize some shit. Nationalize some shit. Let's have our own communications network. If you want to have private networks, like there should be a phone network that exists, paid for by the government. Cheap internet service. Everybody can go get a fucking phone and get like fucking $5 a month cell phone service on a nationwide fucking network. But the government, but it has no outages and coverage like the post office. You're gonna fucking put towers up everywhere there needs to be because you don't have to worry about the profit motive. Steak sounds nice. Steak is good. I like steak. I'm sorry I didn't make burgers for you. Like I made burgers for myself and they were incredibly good. Are we done with Saagar? We're done with Saagar, right? I'm done with Saagar.